Board games, board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, board games, I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing, and here I am about to say what I think of some games I chose to play. In the last week, I was on BGA, playing some games which try to demonstrate their fun to me. Well, did they succeed? Did these games provide the fun that I need? I'm going to tell you about these things and my first impression right after well, not right after, but somewhat after. I have a little sing. Board games on BGA, it's what I'm talking about. Board games on BGA. I'm not gonna shout. Hello and good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I am Bez. These are my Bezzy Beats and board game Blether. So, and hello, Rob. Hello. I hope that you are generally well. How have you been? And what am I doing today? Today, I am chatting about board game arena games. I'm giving. Look, none of these games that I play on Board Game Arena, except for maybe Lucky Numbers, I played a lot of that, I'm going to admit, just because it's really quick and it's really easy to play. And so, yeah, if someone wants a game of Lucky Numbers, frankly, I would play with you right now. But today I am chatting about various Board Game Arena games. These are, of course, board games. Board Game Arena only has board games, and I'll be giving impressions of various games. Some of them I've played before, so Lost Cities and For Sale, I have played them other times, but these are, yeah, basically based on their thing. Ooh, Rob is preparing a leek and potato soup. That sounds awesome. Nice. So what spices are you using? So, yeah, leek and potato, that's a classic combination. Man, I should find a good recipe for a leek and potato soup. And then I could do a leek and potato soup sometimes. It's actually been quite nice up here. I'm just going to say, yeah, let's move on to recent. Actually, you know what? I'm going to quickly cover what games am I talking about today. I will say that I am covering Cubirds. First impressions, I played that about 5 times. It took me about 5 or 6 times until I won my first game. I'm going to be talking about Lost Cities, a game that I played quite a bit, the actual physical game of it, and then I played it quite a bit with, yeah, playing cards admittedly with One for Your Suit, but it's For Sale. This is my favourite out of everything I'm going to talk about today. I'm just putting it out there. For Sale, I love it. Solo, which is basically like Uno, but yeah, a couple of, maybe a tiny bit more. Love Letter, I do enjoy this, but I feel it's... I probably don't enjoy it as much as other people, but I can definitely see how other people are enjoying it. I feel like I get frustrated a wee bit by the randomness. I have a lower tolerance for randomness. Conversely, I'm still enjoying Lucky Numbers from Michael Schacht. Michael Schacht also designed Coloretto. This was a great game. Lucky Numbers, great game, where I feel like, yes, it's super short, but the turns are going by quickly. As long as you play just 2 players, I think that if I played with any more than 2 players, I would just get frustrated. Maybe that's also my issue with Love Letter. That I feel like for such a game, like I'm picking up a card, I'm choosing between these 2. I don't get very many decisions. Sure, there's a bit to pondering. But anyway, this is just my personal opinion. Steamworks, I was playing that with Xate because it's Xate's favourite turn, and I've not managed to win it. It is one of those games, any strategic game where you're making a bunch of choices and then you've really got to ponder not only, to be fair, I don't want to dismiss the strategy and lucky numbers. Like, are you going to, if there's a 19 on your bottom right, you know what, I'll get into all of these later. But let's move on to recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. So, as I was saying, it's all about sometimes walking around and seeing the sights. So what sights have I been seeing? Well, I saw this Game of Thrones. I thought that was meant to be a pun, like, hey, this has been thrown out, and take it or leave it. You can take this bit of furniture. Is that what they were trying to say? I was a bit confused. But that seemed pretty nice typography. And then on the other side, be there or be square. Yeah, I feel like this is, just for clarity, that was actually a chest of drawers, and there were no drawers in it. So I don't think they actually felt anyone was going to take. This is a view from just on the top of the hill, seeing quite a bit of, I want to say, South Glasgow. Some lovely flowers just by the edge of a postbox. And yeah, let's look at these streets. Looking down the hill, looking up the hill. I mean, this is a nice hill. When I have this hill, I try to run up, just like to sprint up to get my heart pumping. Because, yeah, I've not managed to quite make it all the way up yet without having a wee bit of a breather. But I enjoyed going down into Dumbarton Road, looking on one side, standing in the middle of the road, not many people around. I noticed that there's definitely more people on, I think, normally around this time, there's more people around. So I wonder whether it's because it was on a Sunday. I don't know. But yeah, that was lovely. Going out, seeing the lack of people, having that little bit of solitude, but having a few people on the other side of the street, crossing the street to, you know, keep my distance, and then saying hello, and them saying hello back, was something lovely. And actually, let me go on to Twitch quickly, just to change the category of this to board games. So Leia, let me ask you, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? Have you played any good games? Yesterday, of course, I got to chat to Anna Vassenberg. That was good times. And then in the evening, I managed to get onto a stream to play test a couple of games. And hello, it's the Game Cupboard. Hello, Kelly Lee and Ben. It is lovely to have you join us. Thank you very much. So, yes. Oh yeah, yesterday, 7:30 p.m, I was on In Games UK, and let me actually see if I can give a wee share of that link. So go over to this link. Hope I just shared it accidentally on Twitch. I'm going to share it on all the places. So go over there, subscribe to In Game UK. They are doing great things, bringing people together, just trying to facilitate fun. And Alex and I were playtesting Bidabel first. We played 2 games of that, followed by Invisible. And it was really interesting to hear what the people thought. We played with Nick Shaw, who's another game designer, probably best known for doing some solo modes. I worked with Nick on Welcome to Dino World, I want to say. And I think that next works a lot with Turksey. We had Andrew Ginman, who is a board game retailer, online person, and might be joining us one day in the future. That would be lovely. And we had Chris, and yeah, just playing these games and saying, hey, what do you think of it? And we tried a brand new rule set for Bidabel. The brand new rule set I'm really excited about. So in the old version of Bidabel, so if you don't know, Bidabel is a game for the L deck, but you're using the rank of the card. So the earlier it comes in the alphabet, the better a choice you will, or the earlier a choice you will make. If you put down B, you will get a choice before someone who puts down a D, let alone a Z. I mean, Z obviously goes after everything else. You're trying to collect sets of similar borders. At the end of the game, and this is the big change that we made, the free cards that you have left in your hand determine what scores. Now, back in the old days, by which I mean a week ago, it was purely the biggest set scores 2 points for everything in it. The second biggest set scores 1 point for everything in it, and that works fine. But it was too much open information. It was too clear to say, oh yeah, that person's winning. Whereas now, it's like this little hidden thing. It's that extra dimension. And I think it's managed to bring it together. The only thing that the game needs now is a tie-break mechanism. And it was also suggested to us that we should explore a 5 to 8 player game, maybe by mixing a couple of decks together. But no, I'm really excited that it went down so well, and then we played Invisible, which was just crazy. I'm not going to talk about the results, just in case you want to play it and you don't want spoilers of what's happened. But I will spoil the first turn. Like, was just 4-letter word after 4-letter word after. Anyway, yeah. So, if you want to share any of your own highlights, then feel free to. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about brilliant things. Brilliant things. What's a little thing which is brilliant? So, brilliant things. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. This is my other recent highlight. I did draw the M, P, Q, and U. So I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 5 letters to draw. I am quite happy with all these. Let me know what you think, if you've got any opinions. But brilliant things. You know, for brilliant things, I'm going to say colors. I think that colors are pretty damn awesome. You know, like here where you've got the red and then you've got the blue and then it looks a bit different. Sure, if you can't see colors, then, you know, my heart goes out to you. And it's like, I understand that when it's just grayscale, these would be, you know, if you had complete achromatic vision, then that is incredibly rare and unfortunate. But if you're just red-green colorblind, even then you can still see, okay, that's one thing, that's another thing. And these colors have connotations. These colors mean things. These colors can pull us in. These colors can impart emotions. These colors can direct us. These colors can, yeah, I can't think of any. I was going to think of separate pieces on a board game board, but that's really just imparting information. But of course, if it's on a board game board, you really want to double code stuff. Don't just use the colors, use the patterns as well. Of course, like Ticket to Ride does a great job of this. But then having said that, you know, someone mentioned that they couldn't play a version of Ticket to Ride because the little pieces are all identical except for the color. And apparently, I think it's London. Yeah, 2 of them in London are just a bit too similar, which is a shame. But yeah, anyway, that is my new letters that I've drawn. And brilliant things, colors. Colors are where it's at. Whether it's, you know, colors telling you, I mean, in nature, yellow, black, and red is telling you to beware. Or whether it's like glancing over and then you see a bit of orange in a sea of other colors. This is literally, except for a couple of pencils there, this is the only orange thing on this table. So it's like, I want scissors. Hey, those are the scissors. And colors can help sort the world into different bits. So that is a brilliant thing. Now, if anyone has any questionably quick questions, feel free to shout them out. Let me know what your questions are. Feel free to ask me questions, of course, later on as we go through the games. Ask me about the games that I'm talking about. Yeah. So questionably quick questions. I do like to ask people, what time is it? Where are you? I am in Glasgow, 3rd story building. It is 10:16. That is where I am in as much detail as I'm willing to give. Oh man, water's another brilliant thing, you know. Brilliant thing, water's a thing which is brilliant. Okay, so if anyone has any questionably quick questions. Oh, Rob has one. What is my favorite type of soup? I like A spicy soup. If I had to choose one, I would go for like some sort of Thai Thai style soup. Maybe something. Could I choose soup noodles? Could I choose soup noodles, or is that cheating? Like something with udon in it? Am I allowed that? If not, I would choose something with bean sprouts in it. Maybe like swarts or chestnuts. Yeah, a soup with crunchy bits in it. Interprets how I like. Yeah, I like an exciting soup. I'm all about the exciting flavors. I would go for the soup noodles. I would go for okay, like is this is a genuine question. Like, is a bowl of instant noodles soup? Because soup noodles, when you go in, I've been to Wagamama and then you've got soup noodles. It actually says that on the menu. You go for the and then you get your prawns. You get so much going on. Like, I love seafood. Sorry for those who are vegetarian, but I do. When I have it, I really adore it, and I enjoy the flavors and everything so much. And so, yeah, instant noodles are a bit like ramen, and yeah, I'm not meaning like pot noodles are rubbish. I'm just putting it out there. In my opinion, I do not much care for pot noodles. But a wee pack of instant noodles that you pop into a big bowl, and then I don't just pop on the boiling water. Maybe I put an egg on top. That's something that I quite often would do back when I was in London. Just crack open the instant noodles, pop the powder on one side, pop an egg or two on the other side, and then you've got it's like an egg drop soup. So the egg just cooks, it's like it's lightly poached, and then you've got the soup noodles. Sometimes I would even, just chop up a wee bit of maybe, spring onions obviously works well, but spring onions, the thing about spring onions is that they go off really quickly. So unless you are organized enough that you're like, yeah, I'm going to use this many spring onions all the time. And okay, we've been getting through some of the premium pot noodle type things, itsu, kabuto, etc. for light lunches. Yeah, I've seen that kabuto. Those are all right. I mean, I just feel like they tend to be a wee bit overpriced for what they are. I feel like if I get some super cheap things some of the cheap, just open the pack, put the noodles in, put the powder on top, and then we would have like lots of eggs. We'd have maybe 24 eggs because there's 4 of us in the house and we're all eating eggs. And so let me just crack a couple of eggs onto this soup noodle, or 1 egg, and then maybe a couple of slices of a bit of onion. And sure, it takes a tiny bit more work, but for me, that maybe 5 minutes of work is like a bit of mindfulness. And true story, when I was back in London, for my lunch, my lunch break would be sort of me preparing that and then choosing something to watch on the big screen. And by the big screen, I mean like the projector. I'm not going to call it the TV because, yeah, I can see that. It's definitely cheaper than a takeaway. But I would pass over. I mean, if you do noodles the way I did, that's like 50 pence, whereas those ones might be like £1.50, and so you're saving £1. And then if you saved on that like 8 times, then on your 8th time plus your then you can get a really nice takeaway like fish and chips, or a special chow mein or something. And Game Cupboard says, we've really been enjoying Shin Ramyun's gourmet spicy noodles. Awesome if you like heat. I do like heat. And look, I'm not going to have, I like heat to a certain extent. Like, I saw that documentary about people who are eating raw chilies and eating the Carolina Reapers and then eating the things that are even hotter than the Carolina Reapers because that person who invented the Carolina Reaper it's just wow. Anyway, I would not be down for that sort of thing at all. But for what is generally commercially available, oh my gosh, and there was one thing from Iceland, which was I've only once seen something that was commercially available, as in not in a restaurant, but in a supermarket, which was actually, yeah, this is genuinely spicier than I would like, which was this Carolina Reaper curry from Iceland. And that curry from Iceland, how can I put it? So on the front, my problem with this is that it had 4 chilies, 5 out of 5 or something like that, chili symbols. Now, and thank you for reminding us all to stretch stream elements. I am going to get up to my chair. So yeah, what is the hottest thing I have ever eaten out of a supermarket? It is this one thing from Iceland, Carolina Reaper. It had all the warning banners. It was like yellow and black and red to say warning, very spicy, but at the same time, it was, I think it was 3 out of 3 or 5 out of 5, whatever the maximum was. And then I'd had things with that many chilies on it before. It was like, that's not that spicy. But well, this one, let me tell you, this was so spicy. I had basically an entire tub of yogurt and an entire cucumber with plenty of rice just to make this curry palatable. That's how spicy it was. I really needed to, and you can't quite see me, but this is what I'm doing, just popping my foot over here. Anyway. So, yeah. That was really darn hot. And I would have a wee taste of it again, but just remember, was it really that hot? Just coming back for a second time. But yeah. Supermarket, a better place for soup. I like that. I wonder if I could... Can I actually just make a thing to give a certain amount of points? Like, instead of having to say Harper Rob, and then have like a pun counter which increases the number of puns which Bez has rewarded. And it's like, okay, pun, and then I'm giving you, that's a good pun. I like that. Anyway, so convenience food plus some manual boosting. I 100% agree with this. Yeah, get that quick, easy, cheap food, but then put a tiny bit more into it. That's a good way to go. Damn straight. Yeah, I am encouraging puns, yeah. So, that is, unless anybody else has any questionably quick questions, I guess that is the end of my questionably quick questions. And I'm not saying that's how I'm going to award like points to every single pun that comes out of there. We decided to try Morrison's Hellfire chili sausages they were selling around Halloween once. We thought they can't be that bad. But and there we go, Rob keeping us updated on this leek and potato soup. You know what? Okay, you know what I was going to say when you started this whole conversation, when you mentioned that, I've been doing a wee bit of cooking for the family whilst up here. You know, I'm not normally the one cooking, but I cook maybe once a week just to chip in. And up until now, I've been kind of just, okay, there's a lot of food. I've been trying to prevent the food waste by just using the leftovers and putting it all into a stew. Lovely to see you, Nicholas. If you're just lurking, you're very welcome, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for the lurk. And I would like to get a recipe of leek and potato. So, Rob, if this recipe works, then please let me know, because that sounds like a good, solid thing. Would it be good for, like, a dinner? Would it be good for a dinner is what I'm asking. And yeah, it feels like I would. The nice thing about here is when you're cooking for a family, when there's like 4 of you in a household and everyone's eating dinner together, it's nice being able to cook something and then everyone sharing it. Whereas when it's only one of you or two of you, or when there's four of you in a household, but everyone else is eating their own thing, it's not quite the same. Do you know what I mean? So there's definitely a bit of joy in that. Chop up leek and potatoes, maybe Friday muffet bit. Add water, a stock cube or two, and cook until soft. Surely there's some spice. Stock cube can't be the only spice. Let me know kind of, I need proportions. I need to know what spices, and I want to hear after you've made it, not just now. I want to hear like tonight, after you've actually eaten it, how it's good. So let us know in the Discord, or if you're popping by tomorrow, let us know, and so I will be interested to hear. But yeah, that is probably not so like, I feel like if you've got a soup, maybe if you put some, I feel like a soup can be a really nice dinner if you've got just a broth. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you put some, not chickpeas, but split peas, like red lentils or yellow split peas, put that in, and then maybe make it into a wee bit of a broth, or maybe could cook some beans on the side, put some beans in there to make it a bit more going on. Do you know what I mean? Like some pulses, so that there's a bit of protein in there, because yeah, but that is that. So that is the end of my questionably quick questions. If you want to ask anything, then feel free to comment, ask questions, thumb, like, follow, all that stuff. And what are we on about today? I am chatting about board game arena games. And I was told by Ian that it's fine for me to show stuff. And why can't I find word notifications? That's where I go. Okay. Giving a first impression of various games based on their board game arena implementations. That is what I am doing today. And Rob says, I've done this loads in the past and it always works. Often flavor with celery salt, but I don't generally spice much. See, I am all about the spice. I'm all about strong flavors. Beans, lentils, etc. stops it being the leek and potato soup. Does it? Does it really? I mean, you've still got the leeks, you've still got the potatoes. It just means that there's now some yellow lentils or whatever in there. It's still a leek-based soup. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I should make soup tonight. Maybe I should try making soup. Maybe I should investigate. I've not made a soup in a long while. I've just made stews, like just putting them in and then putting the chopped tomatoes. Anyway, I said I was chatting about board game arena games, and let me go to my notifications so I can. You are such a militant. It's opposite. If you've got leeks and potatoes and it's a soup, is that not still a leek and potato soup? If you had leek and potato soup and you had some chili powder in it, is it not still a leek and potato soup? If you've got leek and potato, if you've got leek and potato in it, and leek and potato is a substantial portion of the ingredients, and it's a soup, to me, that's a leek and potato soup. I mean, frankly, based on how some supermarkets brand, I mean, like, you've got these smoothies that it might be okay, pomegranate, and then when you actually look at it, it is 14% saturated. Okay, it says pomegranate, blueberries, and acai, and then when you go on the back, it says 0.7% acai berries. I mean, that's a bit rubbish. That's just them kind of telling you the most expensive. Yeah, I am all about the soup revolution. No, it's not whatever I want them to be. And hello, Hiyori. Hiyori, it is lovely to see you, and I hope you're having a good day. I am just about to talk about various board game arena implementations, and let us start off in reverse order. Let's start off with lucky numbers. Okay, I'm going to talk about lucky numbers. I've played this game a bunch. Why does it not allow me to? Okay, there we go. So I played this game, yeah, maybe like 5-6 times. It's just so quick. It's just, and with the tournament, you're not just playing one game against each person before you play the next one. In the single elimination tournaments, you were playing two. This was actually the only Board Game Arena tournaments I've ever been to. I thought I'd give it a go. I don't have much desire to play it more than 2 players. I'm going to be honest, when I play stuff on Board Game Arena, if I'm playing it with people that I know, then sure, let's play it with 4 players. But if I'm playing it with people that I don't know, well, I'm going to be playing it 2-player just as a quick thing. And Lucky Numbers, because it is a quick, easy to play game, makes sense. How does it work? So you see a wee screen over there. You start off with 4 numbers on your board. The top left, and then a diagonal leading from the top left to the bottom right. Everyone's going to receive 4 numbers. You put them in ascending order. At the end of the game, you are trying to fill in your grid before the other person. You're trying to make it so that every row is in ascending order. So on the left, you can see 1, 4, 6, 13, 2, 5, 8, 15. So it doesn't need to just be ascending as you're reading it. It's just that every line, whether it's horizontal or whether it's vertical, I don't think the diagonals matter at all in this game, but every orthogonal line has to be in ascending order. Each turn you're allowed to do one of 2 things. Either you can take a random number and then you put it down somewhere that is allowed. If there's not, you could also use it to replace an existing number. So for example, if you started off 1, 2, 3, 4 on the diagonals, that would be incredibly unfortunate. If you draw a 20, well, clearly you're going to put it on the bottom right and replace that number and get rid of that. Now, if you had this 1, 2, 3, I've ended most games thinking, okay, you want the middle bit to be kind of, sorry, the way you see it, yeah, that way. You want that bit to be kind of in the 10s. And Rob says you could add worker placements and dice drafting to this game and it would still be lucky numbers because it still has substantial elements of lucky numbers. Okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing with the leek and potato soup. Leek and potato soup is a variety of stuff. Lucky Numbers is a specific game. Lucky Numbers is a specific game which was, where's my wee banner? Which was designed, who was it designed by? Michael Schacht in 2012. And Rob, you know that leek and, look, you do not get to say leek and potato soup is one specific thing. Leek and potato soup is a mutable thing. If you are playing couple and you turn it into a speed game, you're playing a variant of that. There is no singular leek and potato soup that has been handed down. Anyway. Okay, fine. Lucky numbers. There's definitely lots of luck. You could have a terrible game where there's no chance for you to win. You have to be okay with that. It's all about mitigating the things. It's all about taking those chances. Like if you've got an 18 and then it's all about, you also, with 2 players especially, you start thinking about what would the other person want. Like let's say in this situation, you didn't have the 17, you were playing as June D. Cox, and the 17 wasn't there, and you drew a 20. Would you replace the 20 with that 18? Well, the 20 is going to give you another couple of possibilities because currently the only thing that could go there is a 16 or a 17. You've only got 2 options from 1 to 20. That's the range of the numbers. But if you do put the 20, then you could put an 18 or 19. But conversely, if you do put the 20 there, then the 18 goes into the middle of the table. And on the table, the things that have been replaced or not used, the other person is able to take it. So putting an 18 there would guarantee the other player a point. And so that's probably not something you want to do. I love this game with 2 players because it's very vicious and, okay, what is that other person looking for? What's going on? Played it once with 3 players. It was all right. I mean, I've got to be honest. I'm sorry, Hiyori. This is an English-speaking show, but lots of love and thank you for joining us. If I'm just going to say this gets my initial impressions of this game, double thumbs up. Would I play it again on Board Game Arena? Yes, I would. Would I play it again? Would I be motivated to buy it? Probably not. I really like how simple it is, how engaging I find it despite that simplicity. But because of that turn-based nature, you've got to think, do you mind a really simple game where people might be taking a bit of time? It might be taking a while before it comes back to you. For a simpler game, I would prefer, and I say this knowing that Kitty Cataclysm is one of those take a turn, but here it's the whole, okay, you pick up the number, now you've got to ponder. And there's not too much pondering. It might be like 30 seconds or a minute, but sometimes there is actually a surprising amount of pondering that you can do. And yeah. Lucky Numbers, great work by Michael Schacht, great Board Game Arena implementation. I would encourage folk to check it out. So there we go. What else? Let me get rid of that banner and let's talk about a very somewhat similar in complexity, but somewhat different. There we go. Where For Sale. For Sale by Stefan Dora, I want to say. For Sale is a brilliant, brilliant game. I adore this. It's an auction game of 2 halves. In For Sale, you start off buying the properties. It's a minute. Oh, thank you very much for following, Van Uber. Is this Alan? But yeah, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. And so, yeah, For Sale, I think this is one of the finest games out there. I'm just going to go on a limb and say that. I think this is glorious. So you start off with money, right? There's a Dutch auction. You've got a few things in the middle, like you can see being repeatedly done in this wee animation. The first person out takes back half their money. So you need to keep putting in money, putting in money, putting in money to remain in the auction. It's not about who bids the most, it's about staying in the auction. When you drop out of the auction, you get back half your money and you take the worst house on the market. The last person pays everything and takes the best house on the market. So actually, you don't want to be the last person. It's almost optimal, and you'll never get this every time. This is never going to happen every time, but ideally, you want to be dropping out, probably not first, probably not last, somewhere in the middle. I mean, if you are the second to last to drop out, well, you still get half your money back, and you get the second best thing in the middle. That's amazing. And so it brings about all these mind games, and it's fantastic. And then you've got this second half, which you see being demonstrated in this animation, which is you're putting down your properties and these little money cards, which the money cards could be better designed. Why do they have this big money symbol? Sure, it has the bit on the top left, so that you can fan your cards out, but it feels like, especially for this implementation, it should have just been a big number in the middle. That feels like it would have been slightly nicer. Money, big number in the middle, then you could have seen it more clearly. There's no art to speak of. Anyway, so you're selling your properties for checks, and I've actually played a version where all of these look like wee handwritten checks, and then it's a blind auction. Everyone puts down one property. It's a blind bid. The highest takes the highest check, and so forth. Every property is unique. I believe it goes from 0 to 30 and 0 to 15 for the checks. And it's about thinking, okay, here the checks are very similar, so it doesn't matter whether I put the best property or bad property. If, let's imagine the checks were 5, 6, 7, 7, then obviously you're going to put your worst property. It doesn't matter. There's only free money difference. Whereas if it was 1 for 14, 15, then you are going to try and hit it big in that round. There's so many mind games, so much to think about. Thank you for joining us. Lots of love. And hello, Alan. Lovely to see you. Still not got around to playing For Sale. Yeah, I adore this game. I am going to be another one recommending this. I've not played Last Go. I'm going to make a wee notes of this game. And I'm just saying that I don't care what anybody else says. This, to me, this and No Thanks, another kind of Dutch auction-y game. It has, sure, if you are playing this with complete non-gamers, okay, you've got to explain 2 different auction mechanisms. That's a little bit more to wrap your head around, but it provides a story. It actually, through such simple mechanisms, it becomes super thematic, where suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, we've got money, and now we're buying houses, and now those houses are being traded for money, and then the person with the most money wins. It's not the most engrossing story. It's not the most exciting story, but it's a story. It's thematic and bloody marvelous. Hello, Alex. It is lovely to see you. I'm just extolling the virtues of this game. I adore this game. The kinds of games that I would choose to play with strangers is very different from the kinds of games that I would choose to play with friends. With strangers, I would far prefer to play an abstract strategy game, and I'm just going to say that boardspace.net for me is slightly better than Board Game Arena in that, just because there's so many abstract strategy games on boardspace.net. I will actually type in, let me type that in quickly, boardspace.net. But yeah, Board Game Arena, or it does have a nice looking UI and it has all these things. So, but For Sale, for playing with friends, this is, out of all the games that I've talking about today, this is the one where I could be like, yeah, if I were to buy one of these, this could be it. It's like small box, plays well with few players, plays well with more players, simple to engage with. It's got loads going on. Sure, there's not that much agency or strategy, but yeah, 100% For Sale. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant game. Okay, what else am I going to talk about? Cubirds. Oh man, Cubirds. Okay, so this is really a first impressions. Where's my wee Cubirds banner? This was a very new game. It's only a couple of years old by, 2 and a bit years old, by Stefan Alexander in 2018. It is on beta. It is a 2-5 player game. I played it 5 times 2 player. It took me 5 times to manage to win. It looks this game looks deceptively simple. And in a sense, I'm still wrapping my head around it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how it works. And you'll get this impression that I don't have any idea about it when I tell you how it works, because I'm going to be really bad at explaining this game. Okay, so what is Cubirds all about? Well, you've got a bunch of birds. Here are some owls. If you've got 3 owls, then you get 1 owl point. If you've got 4 owls, then you get 2 owl points. It's like Bonanza or Civilization, where it tempts you into keeping your resources for a little bit longer to get double the points. And then the little number on the bottom where it says 10. Let me make that screen a wee bit bigger. So yeah, this is how many of that card it is. And let me actually take a wee break to address all the comments. Rob can only really stomach most abstract strategy games if played across the table from a friend. Okay, I can understand this. And I will say that, what was it, Quantic? Yeah, it was Quantic, one of the Jigmic games that first time I played it, I thought it was terrible. I played it with Matthew Dunstan. We kind of played around with it. I think it's not really Matthew's kind of game. Then I played it with a demonstrator at the following Cannes. I want to say Cannes 2020. I played it with a person who was playing it as a profession. I can't remember their name. This is really bad. Sandrine, such a lovely demonstrator. And we were both being paid by the same company, but Quantic. So what you can do if you're not playing online is that we played the game and it was like, okay, you beat me. Well done. You've won once. Would you mind if we reset and then we go back and then we reset and then Sandrine beat me again and then we went back a move and then Sandrine beat me again and then we went back a move and Sandrine beat me again, like each time a little bit further along until I was, okay, I can start to get the game. And then Sandrine was really good at teaching me until I started winning and Sandrine was like, okay, now if we count, I was almost like, okay, you've won 6 times. We've only played 2 games, but you've won 6 times. And so, yeah, I do enjoy that kind of exploration with someone else. But what game would I be willing? Like, playing a game with a friend is always better than playing a game with a stranger. But what game would I be willing to play with a stranger? I would say that playing a game with a stranger, you need that. This feels like, and it's on topic. Playing with strangers v friends, but it feels like when you're playing with strangers, for me, you want to make sure that you are on the same level, and which if you've got an ELO ranking, then great. And secondly, I don't want to be playing a game like For Sale so much where it's about the mind games or the okay, let's play a game like Love Letter. Yeah, I'd be willing to play a game like Love Letter. I mean, you'll find out what to think. Anyway, for me, I'm all about exploring that. So back to Cubirds. What is Cubirds all about? You are gathering all of these cards. Gather cards, put them in, make sets. If you've got 3 owls, that's 1 set of owls. If you've got 4 owls, that's 2 sets of owls. If you've got 2 flamingos, that's 1 set of flamingos. If you've got 3 flamingos, that's 2 sets of flamingos. And there are 7 in the deck. And that is what's going on. So what happens, let me, oh, well, that's quite nice. This is the tutorial, so I must lay cards. Every turn you put down a card and you put it on the left or right. If you have managed to sandwich cards, so here I could put my reed warbler over here. I could choose to put them there. Wait a minute. I must play the move indicated in the tutorial. Must play the. I don't know what the move indicated in the tutorial is. I guess that tutorial isn't working just yet. But anyway, let's say if I were, whichever thing I play, I need to play all of them. So if I played these reed warblers, I think they're called, then and I put them left, then I would capture the magpie, because the magpie is stuck between two reed warblers. Conversely, if I put down the robin and I put it here, then I would capture the parrot and the magpie, which would be pretty good. Then I could take the magpie for my following move, if this bottom row hasn't already been taken, put down the magpie here, and then take all the reed warblers, and then I would have 3, 4, 5, and then I only need one more to get a set. If you don't pick up a card, you are allowed to pick up from the deck. If you do pick up a card, you don't get to choose. The reason why you might sometimes want to draw from the deck, because cards are obviously good, but sometimes not draw from the deck, is because if you run out of cards, if you let yourself run out of cards, that's the end of the round. Everyone has to suddenly ditch all their cards away. And it's like, boom, you thought you were gearing up to make 2 sets. Well, haha, in your face. Yeah. And so, yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. It's about when do you time your hand to have no cards so that you kind of catch the other person unawares? When do you sandwich cards, trying to have that balance of building up lots of cards, and how do you win? Well, if you've got one of 7 different sets, because there are 8 possible birds, if you've got 7 out of the 8 of them, you win. Conversely, if you've got 3 of one and 3 of the other, then you also win. It is a really nice game. There's a lot to think about. It took me a while before I won my first game, and yeah, this is one that I definitely need to play a bit more before I wrap my head around it. Especially online. More and more I'm realizing how much I just adore simultaneous action and simultaneous selection. And I do really like 2-player things, but no, I'm really digging this game. I'm really loving it. So that is my opinion of Cubirds so far. If you've got any questions about it, then let me know. Rob says, I think I don't enjoy hyper-competitive games as much with strangers. I'm not usually hugely competitive, though I do try to win. And expectations on how hard to play a game can sometimes clash. That makes sense. I think that if you've got a website which does have an ELO ranking, then you do start to play games with people who are similar to you, which can be nice. It depends. What's a hyper-competitive game? Is a game hyper-competitive, or is it more that the people are hyper-competitive? Because I can definitely see an argument to be made that any game with perfect information is by its nature going to tend a bit more towards greater competition. But yeah, this is definitely one that, even though you've got secret information in your hand, you're catching people unawares, you're watching what other people have. With 2 people, it can be like, okay, you're all about the parrots, you need the parrots to win. I really need to deny you the parrots. And then while you're denying the person the parrots, then they get the other 3 sets and win in another way. So yeah, that is my impressions of Cubirds. Let me go back and Lost Cities. Okay, I said at the start that Lost Cities is a game that I have played a good few times. Reiner Knizia, 1999. There we go. Lost Cities by Reiner Knizia, 1999. This is a brilliant game. And also, can I just give a shout out to the artwork? Who did the art? Let me actually double check on Board Game Geek. It was it could have been Vincent Dutrait for the latest version, although Michaela Kinle, Anke Paul, Lyric, Klaus Stefan Franz Wofingel. Feels like... so Lost Cities. This is gorgeous game. You've got 5 suits. You've got basically yellow, blue, white, green, red. You're starting off some expeditions. When you've started off an expedition, you're committed to doing it. It has that moment of tension, like you are adventuring. You're going off on an expedition. And even though people say, oh, Knizia is so abstract, but there is definitely a feeling of adventuring, of saying, okay, I'm going to do investments. I'm doing these handshake cards, going investments. And don't get me wrong, it is an abstract game. It is very much a luck-based, what cards do I have in my hand? If I start off with the 7, 8, 9, 10, then, well, I'm just going to start that off, frankly. Once you start off an expedition, you can never go backwards. So once you've played the 5 cards, you can never play 1, 2, 3, or 4. Once you've played the 10 cards, you can never play any other card, because for each suit, I think it's 3 handshakes and numbers 1 to 10. This probability analysis is a big part of the game. The other big part of the game is how you play your cards. Each turn, you are going to be drawing 1 and then putting down 1. You're going to be drawing 1 either from one of the discard piles or from the deck. Then you will play 1 either into one of your expeditions, which can get you points or potentially lose you points, or you can put it onto a discard pile. And the thing about putting it onto the discard pile is then the other player can take it. Splitting up the discard piles by suits, this is genius. It's vaguely reminiscent of Rummy, but a lot more. It takes that, what does the other person want? Am I giving them too much? And it dials that up to 11, figuratively speaking. Honestly, I mean, yeah, if you like Rummy, if you're a Rummy player, if you want to... This makes me wonder if I should actually give my copy of Lost Cities to my parents. I should get them to try out Lost Cities on a deck of cards, and if they enjoy it, then rather than sell off my copy of Lost Cities, give it to my mum and dad. But anyway, so Lost Cities, played it a few times in real life, brilliant game. I will admit that it is not quite to my personal tastes. It has a little bit more luck, and I find it a little bit too tense for my tastes. If you like that sort of tension, if you like that, oh, what I put on, what are they looking for? If you like that, then this is a game for you. If you like that, oh, what should I go for that expedition? Should I not? Then this is a game for you. Yeah, this is masterful. I remember reading a blog a couple of years back asserting that Knizia is a master of theme. It was actually a strong argument, giving his way of guiding thought processes, even if his games aren't strongly linked to a setting. There you go. And yeah, I have played this a few times. I've won at least, I think I played it twice and won once, and that was enough for me. I'm just kind of trying these out on Board Game Arena. Oh, okay, 3 games, 1 victory. There you go. I lost twice. So I'm not particularly great at this game based on my 3 games, 1 victory. I would say that the Board Game Arena implementation is very good. I would say that the Board Game Arena implementation, you see what's going on? Is there... I wonder, is there a tutorial? And I would like to touch upon Board Game Arena a little bit. Go to next player's turn. Okay. I must play a card. An expedition. And then which one do I play? Sorry, I must make the move indicated with the... Yeah, these tutorials aren't really working for me. this is something that I'm going to get into in a wee bit, where I'll say that it feels like Board Game Arena is really lovely, but is on the cusp of something. There's still a few bugs, but people are... Yeah. I'm just going to get out of that and start talking about the next game. If you've got any thoughts on Lost Cities, then let me know. Otherwise, let me catch up. Rob says, a game wouldn't be innately hyper-competitive in the same way it wouldn't innately have AP, but some games seem to attract players who play hard more than others. Yeah, I will agree with that. And I'll also suggest that, for example, Go is a game which, because of the handicap system, because the whole nature of the game is we are always playing a game on equal footing, it feels like the nature of Go is a lot more about let's get together and have a good time, right? If you know what I mean. And I'm just doing a wee bit of stretchy time, this is my time to stretch, a time to stretch from side to side it is stretchy time. Okay. So what was I going to look at? Let me just pop down. What else have I been playing? Love Letter. Oh yeah. Love Letter by Seiji Kanai, 2012. I remember when this came out, and it was like, oh my god, this is a really cool game. It does stuff totally differently. And I just heard that it does stuff totally differently. I was expecting a game where you were literally writing love letters. I was disappointed by that. Yeah, it is really cool how it has only 18 cards. It really popularized the microgame genre, let's say. And so, good stuff. But really, I don't know, there's just... Okay, so what's this love letter all about? Everyone has a card in their hand. Each turn, you draw a card, you perform one of the actions, and then you play a card, you do what it says. What are the cards? Where's my official rules? So in Love Letter, there's some sorts of ridiculous thing with, a whole getting a love letter to someone, and if you end up with the princess in your hand, then that suggests that you've actually managed to get the love letter. So you've got cards that are ranked from 1 to 8. Number 8 is Princess Annette. If you have to discard Princess Annette for whatever reason, you're knocked out of the round, but if the round carries on until until the draw pile, so every turn you pick up a card, play a card, and the draw pile reduces, people might be knocked out in a couple of ways that I'll explain. If you get to the end of the round, the person with the highest number in their hand wins the game. So Princess Annette has no ability. The Countess has no ability, but when in the hand, you have to discard the Countess if you have a king or a prince. So if you discard a Countess, that's potentially giving some information to someone. So that might mean that you've got a king or a prince. Conversely, you might be bluffing, of course. The king, that means that you trade with someone, so you trade your hand, and then that gives you information. The prince, that means that someone else discards their hand and then draws another one. And yeah, you could knock someone out of the game who happens to have Princess Annette. Handmaiden protects you. Handmaiden means that, and here we get into the thing that there's multiple of. So there's a couple of handmaidens. If you've got Handmaiden, you're protected. Baron is compare the number of your other card. Higher number stays in the game, lower number loses. Priest, look at someone's cards. This helps you with the guard. There's a whole bunch of guards, and guard is going to be a lot of the game. It's going to be like, I bet you've got that card. Now with the guards, this is going to be the key way in which you can knock people out of the game. With the guards, if you've swapped cards with someone, then they've not played the card that you gave them. By the next round, you know exactly what they've got. So if you've got the guards, then you can knock them out. And of course, with the Baron, every time that the Baron is played, someone is going to be knocked out. So it's a bit of a boom, boom, boom. Someone gets knocked out. Someone gets knocked out. And then we play the game. There's a lot of guesswork. There's a lot of randomness. There's a lot of silliness in this game. And it's not to my personal tastes, but I know that some people have played this game where they love just playing it over and over, and I'm not a fan of the you play until someone has 4 tokens. So yeah, technically you're meant to play until someone has, if you're 4 people, play until someone has 4 tokens. If you're 3 people, play until someone has 5 tokens. If you're 2 people, play until someone has 7 tokens. And Board Game Arena, for whatever reason, doesn't allow you to play with 2 people. That seems to be I don't understand why Board Game Arena wouldn't allow you to play with 2 people. In terms of the Board Game Arena implementation, that seems a wee bit chonky. There's seems to be the option to play with some of the extra people that get swapped in. But yeah, it definitely feels like a game that is the kind of thing that I might be willing to play sitting down with some people and then building up a meta game. And then as you build a meta game, sure, you might start having that thing of, oh, okay, I'm going to guess princess because you've always got the princess, ha ha ha. Or you build up that thing where someone rarely bluffs with the countess and then they discard the countess and then you know what they have. Or that one time they discard with the countess and that one time that you guess the king and then the next person guesses the prince. That is the one time that they were bluffing. They are like, ha ha ha, in your face. Rob says, I still totally love Love Letter, but I intensely dislike the extended version for more than 4 players. I've played the Arkham Horror version. What's that called? Which adds on some rules and it adds on a little thing. Like, there's so many versions of Love Letter. There's like Batman Love Letter. This game's been rethemed so many times. I played that one. I played the Archer Love Letter. I played a Cthulhu one, like I just mentioned, whatever that one's called. And there's loads of other versions out there. I feel like this is a game where I have no interest in playing it, even with people that I know. But it feels like such a social game. It feels like the kind of game which is a bit of social bluffing. It's about social rapport. That kind of thing is going to be intensely hard to recreate on an online setting. So in terms of implementation, except for the 2-player adaptation, it seems like the Board Game Arena implementation is great. But I don't care for it online very much. In terms of, is this a good game? It's not to my personal taste, but sure, if I was part of a group of people that were enjoying it, I could see myself having a great time. And I could imagine a situation where this would be the best game for that group of people for that evening. It's not like some games where it's like, yeah, we could have a good time with this game, but a better game would be an even better time. This is a game where I could imagine, yeah, the silliness, and frankly, whether you play Archer or Batman, I think they're all pretty well designed and yeah, that's a really weak recommendation, isn't it? But hey ho, it's interesting because of the way that Board Game Arena is. All of these games must have at least something of a fan base, just because all of these have been essentially put in by volunteers. Now let me go to what's next? Solo. I've played a game and I've played a victory, but despite that, okay. So Solo is by Thomas Paoli. I have no desire to play this again. You can probably guess that this is a bit like Uno, but with a little bit more added on. I don't know why it's called Solo. It is not a solitaire game. You have to shout Solo when you only have one card left in your hand. There are draw fours. There are cards that make the next person draw two. There's also cards with much bigger effects. There are cards that allow you to swap hands. There's cards that allow you to, yeah, I feel, okay, this is my one issue with Board Game Arena. I feel like if I want to play the game, I should be able to just click play a game from this screen. I shouldn't have to go, okay, play now, and then let's see, Solo, if I want to find a game, Solo. And so then you go to Solo and, wait, I didn't mean to do that. Stop, cancel. Sorry people. With Solo, how do I... Yeah, when you're playing it, you see the rules down below, and then you don't normally see that. You can't see that from this screen. Why from this screen can't I just click a... Okay, so, sorry, the rules are here. There we go. Special cards, swap cards, allows you to exchange your entire hand. And, by the way, this is the slapdash nature, how ill-researched this is. So, yeah, you can check the rules from this screen, but you can't play from this screen anyway. So, no, refuse. How do I cancel? How do I... Something's going on there. Certainly is a game. Which one is a game? Solo or Love Letter? But yeah, going back to Solo, and hopefully I've not clicked on anything accidental. This is the nature of... Just... No, Why... I am not playing Solo, am I? Yeah, I'm not playing this one. Why is it saying that I'm playing it? And maybe because I refused it so quickly. Again, this brings me to Board Game Arena. It is a really nice thing. I think it's the best thing that we currently have. It is imperfect. That's all I'm going to say. Let me go back to the notifications. Let's see if I can get it there. So Solo, it has swap cards with everyone. That if you actually are playing two players, which was my choice, then there's actually a fair bit going on, because as soon as you swap cards, they know that you're going to swap cards back. So you want to make your hand really bad before you swap cards, unless either you know that they have a swap card or you have two swap cards, in which case you might want to make your hand pretty good, because they're going to have to play swap cards at some points as well. And then, but yeah, swap cards, it's definitely that's the one major rule change. The other major rule change is that you play it multiple times, and yeah, so each round you score points, and or you lose points, let's say, based on what's left in your hand. If you've got special cards, then you lose more points. Otherwise, the number cards are just worth the number printed on them. Kind of like Rummy, kind of like lots of traditional games, where a 1 is worth 1, 3 is worth 3, and 9 is worth 9, and you lose that many points too. There's an added element of strategy of getting rid of those cards, but it's still very much a random, chaotic game. It's not for me. It says it's for 2 to 10 players. I can see that the more people that you've got, the more chaotic it's going to be. If you've got a family that kind of likes Uno and likes chaotic games, this could be a game for them. I'm not going to play this ever again. Yeah. I feel like these are pretty correct. I would say complexity 1, yeah. Strategy 2, yeah, okay, maybe if it's 1 to 5. Okay, sure. Luck is 4. I would have, sure, maybe. Interaction is 2. I would say that the interaction, if there's fewer of you, because you're swapping cards, because you're actually forcing other people to take cards, because you might get to the points where you swap cards, then you know exactly what's in their hand, then you play cards to knowing what you don't want them to play. That does add a little bit more strategy, complexity, and also a bit more interaction. So I'd actually say it's up to 3. But anyway, so solo meant that you were playing solo contracts rather than partnerships. Huh, that makes sense. Yeah, I really don't have anything more to say about this game. If you're watching this, let me be honest, it's probably not a game for you, but if you like Uno, if you want something that's the next step, I've played Uno. I've played Uno with the flippable cards. I've played Uno with, I think it was called Duo. Out of those 4, if you want a tiny bit more complexity, if you want a next step up in complexity, that's basically what this is. Oh, that's what I meant, DOS. DOS, yeah, I played DOS. That was it. I feel like solo for few. You know what? DOS is all right. And also, I played the flippy one. What's that called? Uno Twist, Uno Flip. Yeah, DOS is so different, where you're putting it on different runs and different bits, and yeah, it's kind of like a completely different game. Honestly, they're all. I would have to play them a bit more and at different player counts before I felt able to suggest one over the other. I would say that solo, out of all of them, solo is the one. Solo might be the only one which suggests that you play over multiple rounds, similar to traditional card games. I would say that this feels, yeah. Yeah, I would say that if you like them, good shouts, Rob. I would say I would agree with that, and I should have actually thought of that. And I've heard something that I'm not sure if I can talk about, but definitely blank. And, I'm just going to say, I'm sure that. So no, I shouldn't say. I'm not meant to say. Oh man, I want. Anyway, but blank is a very good game. Blank, get blank. Let me agree with that. Which, yeah, it's Uno, but the multiple playing in a row, yeah, I would agree with that. Let's move on. Showing my ignorance. Steamworks. I think this is the final game. Yeah, I didn't say. It's all good. I said I wasn't sure if I could say, and I didn't say, so it's all good, isn't it? Anyway, stop giving me a hard time. Wait, you're not giving me a hard time, are you? Why am I accusing you of giving me a hard time? How can I find Steamworks? There we go. So I played this one once and I lost it because I played with someone who's played it an awful lot. Sate taught me this game. It took us maybe a couple of hours, including explanation. I wonder how this 97 minutes thing comes out. Is that the mean of all the games that have been played? In this game, it is all about making these wee engines. So if I skim over, can see this is what the tile cards look like. You've got 3 ages. As the game goes on, you're going to be getting different machine parts. You've got sources, which might be electrical, mechanical, or steam source, and attaching to those sources, you get different machine parts. And each turn you are going to be maybe making machine, maybe running machine, maybe collecting machine parts. That is much of the game. Let me go into the rules, and apparently Board Game Arena redirects you to there, which I hope I'm allowed to see. You can give me a hard time if you like. It's up to you. So, can I just say I love this rule sheet. I love how, yeah, it's still very easy to read. They've not negatively impacted it, but just gotten that little bit of thematic starting into it. So you start off with your player board. Let's look at these player boards. On the top right of Lady Alice Brannigan, if you can see Lady Alice Brannigan there, you are allowed to take the rightmost item from these conveyor belts, essentially. You can take a steam source, which is what you need to run all your engines. So these bits are like the machine parts. This steam source, electrical, steam, and mechanical that you can see on the top left, those are what you use to power your engines. You can create a thing, which is what that little hammer means. You can run one of your own engines. And as the game goes on, you'll also be allowed to place one of your little people into one of your engines that you've created previously. So let's say you'd created this engine, you'd put it down, and then the, what's it called, ampli condenser would then suddenly allow you to get make a do that allows you to do something I can't remember. And this is where Board Game Arena is really good, because it has all these tooltips and you manufacture stuff. All these things are allowing you to get new machine parts. Each machine part that you put down is a victory point. Victory points are really hard to come by. You can't remember, there's 3 different colors, 3 different types of energy. Later on in the game, you'll get universal sources, which allow you to do all sorts of things. Prestige points, some of them, such as Patriotic Haiku Generator, allow you to give away sources. Maybe some of the other machine parts allow you to take a lot of sources, and then some of them allow you to chuck away sources. It's like boom, boom, get sources, chuck away sources, and then I ended up getting like 36 points, which apparently was quite good. But of course, Sate had something like 42 or nigh on 50. I don't know. Anyway, why does it say I've played 0 games? +1? That's weird. Maybe it's because it's in beta. That might well be it. Maybe when it's in beta, your games played don't count. So when you're playing this game on Board Game Arena, I'm just going to say I really enjoy playing it on Board Game Arena, because none of the iconography makes much sense to me. And I could imagine playing it in real life, having to check the back of the rule book, being like, okay, what works here? What am I going to create? What am I making? Okay, what does this mean? But on Board Game Arena, it's just like, yeah, hover over that thing. It tells you exactly what it means. And as the game goes on, let's get to the actual game design. There is definitely a nice sense of escalation. As the game goes on, in the first stage, you've got these... let's get back to this picture over here. In the first stage, you get certain machine parts. In the second stage, you get certain machine parts. In the third stage, you get certain machine parts. As you might expect, to get more and more powerful. In each age, you get a bonus worker. These bonus workers are going to cost you money to use, or you can take money if you don't use them, which is quite nice. It gets a whole... there's definitely a sense of growth. There's definitely a sense of, okay, these are new things coming out. So on the third age, we are going to see more and more powerful things. It reminds me of Chocolate Factory a wee bit, because it's very carefully curated. A lot of the resources that you get, like the engines that you build, you're not going to be doing crazy things in one single turn. The engines that you build aren't going to be like 5 or 6 big. They're going to be like maybe 3 or 4 big. But you might get into a situation where you make an engine that allows you to create another engine and run it straight away. And then if you've got enough of that card where you can make another engine and run it straight away, well, that could escalate. So if you've got 2 of them in your hand, well, boom, I make an engine, run it straight away. I make an engine, run it straight away. And then I run my final thing, and hopefully I get some points with that. How are you going to get points? Again, you get points by making engines, getting them onto the board, matching those sources with the things that are going on. Also, there are things that say, hey, if you get rid of a steam and an electrical, you get 3 victory points. If you get rid of one source, you get 1 victory points. If you get rid of 3 sources, you get 3 victory points. Things like that. And it definitely escalates. I definitely want to play this again. If anyone wants to learn this game, I'm up for teaching it to you at some point. Look me up on Board Game Arena. I am Stuff by Bez, but with spaces between the 3 words. First impressions then are positive, and yeah, I can see why Xate likes it so much, and I would be up for playing it definitely in real life with Xate, even though Xate says that Xate did not like the Board Game Arena implementation just because bits were moving all over the place. So yeah, that is, I think, everything that I was going to talk about. Let me double check. Did I talk about everything? Cubirds. Really, seems really good, but need to play it more. Need to wrap my head around it a bit. It's that sandwiching. It's the having to use everything. There's definitely lots of strategy in there. Lost Cities. I will get my parents to play it with traditional cards if they like it. 2-player, then I will give them the game. Love Letter by Seiji Kanai. Not my kind of game. Lots of people like it. Reasonable implementation. Why is there no 2-player implementation on BGA? I don't know. Solo seemed like a reasonable implementation as well. The person that was... Yeah, there's definitely a wee bit more strategy to it than playing this 2-player compared to Uno or Uno Dos or Uno Twist. This feels like it had the most strategy. But if you want to play at larger player counts, there's clearly going to be more chaos. Steamworks seems like a great game. I definitely need to play it again. For Sale, one of my favorite games, and yet I don't own it. But this is, yeah, I could see myself buying this, and I mean, I know it's been in print like forever, but it's just such a brilliant game. Well done, Stephen Dora. Nice work. Yeah, lucky numbers. I enjoy this. It's quite light. I wish that there were a bit more simultaneous selection, something of simultaneous turns, maybe people passing to the left. If we could take that basic aspect of, I think I would... I don't know, like I would be happy to play this in a group setting I could see this working really well for non-gamers. If you often play with non-gamers, lucky numbers, good stuff, and it's a bit of frivolous fun. I feel like the people that I play with in real life are often going to be people with whom I could play something a tiny bit more involved in. But yeah, that is the end of my chatting about Board Game Arena games. I think I was also going to possibly chat about Board Game Arena tomorrow. I am going to be talking to Ian Paravel tomorrow, the art director of Board Game Arena. Honestly, I really like Board Game Arena. I think that I would far prefer to be playing a game here than something like Tabletop Simulator, where if I'm playing on the computer, I'm going to let the computer take care of a lot of the rules for me. I mean, the computers are already taking more effort to just be there, to look at the screen when I can't look at the table and then look at the person. Like, I can't just move my eyes like that. I need to actually be looking at that. And maybe we've got the audio going on, but there's so much scrolling. There's a smaller Board Game Arena, definitely makes it a wee bit easier, as does Board Space, as does Yucata. Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why I can't go to this screen and then say, you know what, I want to play it right now. Because if I want to play it right now, then the easiest way for me to do that is to add to my favorites. Is it really? And then I need to go to play now to start a new game. And then I need to click play now. And that just seems like a tiny bit more involved. And it's like, one thing I will say is I do like the fact that you can, the payment model. So things do need money to come in to survive. I mean, having said that, how does Yucata and BoardSpace.net work? Are those just run because the people who run them love them so much? So of course, Tabletop Simulator, that's by Berserk Studios. It's you pay for it and then they keep the server up. Where Tabletopia, it's a subscription model and that's how they make the money. Here it's a subscription model and subscription is really cheap. It's like £22.80, so it's not too much. And if you don't want to pay that, you can also pay, see other possibilities. Like if you earn gift points, then you can turn gift points into premium membership. So if each time you win a new game, you get 5 points. And so if you win 20 new games, then you get a premium month, which is quite a fun way to do this. Sponsor your friends. I feel like Board Game Arena, for all its things, is like a good thing. And Rob agrees that is a weird interface decision. My thing that you need to add it to your favorite, or of course you can go to play now, and then I could have been typing in here, okay, find a game, and let's look for Steamworks, okay, and then I click on play now. Fine, but if I'm already in Steamworks, I just, okay, that sounds cool. Okay, let me see more rules. Okay, okay, now I've read the rules. Yeah, I understand how to play. Now I'm ready to play. Let me play now. Okay, how do I play now? I need to click to complete. Anyway, I'm going to ask Ian Paravel. I'm going to tell him that at least. So if you want to come on and help me, what's the words I'm looking for? Heckle, the Board Game Arena people tomorrow, then join me on my show tomorrow. Apparently, Yucata is voluntary donations. I'm sure that boardspace.net. Let me actually. I've not been on there on so many space.net. I've not been on here for so long, and yeah, this. So boardspace.net, it doesn't have as many games. It is very focused on one style of game, but I just love this. No, last time I was there, I think, yeah, Pelago, Micropool, and Che had just come out, and that's, yeah. So this was something that really fostered my love of these things. Because I played Pelago so many times, I ended up buying it. Same with Hive. Where's Hive? Has Hive been taken off? Yeah, this is very much focused on a particular thing. How do we? How do you? Thanks to what? So yeah, thanks to all these people, and it's amazing. Like boardspace.net, like it's basically just one person who's doing all this, and I feel like, you know what, if there were like a wee thing where, yeah, I might actually register a new account, even though I'm sure I've got an old account. And this, and yukata.de, yeah, another option. But yeah, this is the one that was bought by Asmodee. And why was this one bought by Asmodee? I guess it's because of their aspirations, because yeah, it's a small team, but it's a team of 3 people, and they've just hired their 4th, and so yeah. Anyway, this is a good thing. That's basically me done. At this point, I'm just talking more because I don't want to stop talking, but I'm going to stop talking because, oh, Alex, you've got a wee thing. My gosh, I should actually. I feel like a bad person now. It's Alex's birthday, so Alex, thank you for dropping in, Xate. Let's actually. Do you want to drop in on? Are you able to drop in on video, Xate, to sing, or do you want me to sing solo? I'll sing solo, but if anyone wants to join me to sing happy birthday to Alex, then you can join me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alex. Aquasulis. Alex Cannon. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip hurrah! Hip hip hurrah! Hip hip hurrah! Happy birthday, Alex. Yeah, thank you very much for jumping in, Xate, and making sure that I said that. So thank you very much. And yeah, congratulations, Alex. And Alex comes out of the shadows with a triumphant ooh ha hoop bam, and slightly startling everyone. Thanks for being here, Alex. Hey, Xate says, hey, it's Xate. You're here to say hello to Alex.
Ich wollte noch kurz sagen, alles Gute zum Geburtstag, Aquasulis. Hoch soll er leben, dreimal hoch. And I'm not going to sing any more of that because I just know. So happy birthday.
Let me try and sing that. Hoch soll er leben, dreimal hoch. Does hoch mean kind of like cheers?
It means high. It's like lifting him high 3 times.
So lifts. Let's lift her. Let's lift Alex. Let's lift Alex. Let's lift Alex 3 times.
No, you should live like a high, a good life. He should live a good high life. It doesn't translate well to English. It's just
okay. Yeah. Sorry for pushing you.
Have an awesome life. Have an awesome life. Really, really, really awesome kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
have an awesome life. Have an
but
awesome
more
life.
German than that. Yeah.
Let me So let's share some love. Why is my love emoji not working? That doesn't work. Oh, I had a thing. Why is Stream Elements not giving us the love?
Stream Elements does not love Aquasulis.
Love Aquasulis. Does that work? Oh, I think I messed it up because I had 2 commands with the same thing. Because I... Okay, I think I need to do something to sort this out. But if we can get some things for hearts in the chat for Alex, and I will just go and sort out Stream Elements just specially for this occasion. And do you want to say why Alex is brilliant, or do you have to be away in like literally now?
I don't know who this Alex is. I'm talking about Aquasulis. I could show him a birthday cake I made him, but that might be... Just kidding. I'll eat it for you. I mean, there are so many things that are brilliant about Aquasulis. Number one being he is actually literally brilliant. Like, I think probably on a scale of like not brilliant to brilliant, like he would be like above brilliant at Aquasulis level. And this has been proven. This has been proven by these like puzzle grid thingies that he makes that are insane. So like we're like, oh, just show us one that's like easy to medium. And he shows us one that I think what did like 10 of us try to solve it for like 3 minutes and no, it didn't happen because he's just that smart. And so he's brilliant, but also he's not like stuck up brilliant. He's just like silently brilliant. Like he won't be all up in your face with it being like, yeah, I'm the smartest person in the room, but he's totally the smartest person in the room. And he's like extremely musical. So if we're going to talk about like things he's brilliant at, go to like, I think he can play every single instrument known to man and several that he made up himself. I might be slightly exaggerating, but only slightly, because I mean, we've all heard him play the ukulele. And I mean, that's just one example. So obviously if he can play that, he can play anything. Then he's like a game designer who makes like really, really cool games. Especially with me. No, just kidding. But with like a lot of people, like working on games with Aquasulis, like I'm sure there's several people actually here probably now who are doing or have done this at some point in their lives with Aquasulis. And if you haven't, you need to get into this elite club. Designing games with Aqua is fun. like it's more fun than playing the games you actually make, which might not be a good thing, but it's really fun to go through that process, figure out how his brain works, and to see how he does that process. That's brilliant. They were last up to some no game. I don't know what that means. Is that English? He's not brilliant at English.
It assumes that the person that I'm giving a shout out to has been streaming. And if they haven't been streaming, then it messes up.
Doing it with Aqua is definitely fun, says Rob. I'll take your word for that.
Wow. Way to bring the tone down.
I mean, that's Rob. Yeah, you know.
Aqua. Okay. I've got a new command on Stream Elements where you just type in Aqua. Do you see that? And it just says, Aquasulis is awesome. There we go. That's my birthday gift. There we go.
I mean, this isn't going to get old.
Yeah.
How come it doesn't work when Rob does it?
Wait a minute. Is there a it might have been that there's a cooldown.
No, I did it like 5 times in a row.
I don't understand. And Rob's a mod as well. That's really weird. Huh. This is really weird. I don't know. I can't.
Aqua should try it.
You know what? I will actually show you what I'm looking at in this. So, because apparently I'm terrible at tech stuff, so maybe someone will spot something obvious that I'm messing up. So, yep.
Ooh, where's your password?
Say it costs nothing. Global cooldown is 5. I think that's seconds. It says individual cooldown is 15, but that definitely was not an individual cooldown of 15 seconds.
No,
You
I was doing
definitely
it
did
faster.
way more than that.
I think Stream Elements just kind of likes me. We have a thing going. Kind of like MooBot has against me, Streambots likes me.
Enable commands when stream is both. Yeah, and the regular settings are, this is what it says, and I don't know.
So
Game
we should
Cupboards is able to do it.
So my suggestion for today is to spend today baking cakes, pies, cookies, cupcakes, anything that's delicious, that's wonderful. Put candles in it, take pictures of it, send them all to Aqua so he can feel like he's there with you eating it too, and totally not be jealous of all the sweets we're getting.
No. Isn't that... I'm not quite sure how to make sense of this phrasing. Like, yeah. And anyway, no, Aqua, Alex, whatever you choose to call them, is pretty awesome.
Rob, you can float the candles on a piece of French bread. I mean, obviously. Like a nice baguette with like 3 or 4 lights in a row.
Okay, so Rob finally managed to get it to work. I'm glad to see that.
So I left the original message that I wasn't going to be here to say happy birthday with all the emojis before I left this morning. Don't know if any of the mods should have at least been able to see it when they came into chat this morning, so I hope it was still there.
I mean, I just saw the chat from you about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I left it at 9 o'clock this morning. I was like, oh, I've got to be sure that Bez knows that it's Aqua's birthday. So I went in and I guess I could have just privately messaged you, but that wouldn't have been as much fun.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I don't tend to log into Twitch if I'm streaming. Although I did change the thing, but... So... Creamy leek and cheese candles. You could have creamy leek and cheese pie with candles on top. Bob says, I wish I could cook as well as will cook.
I mean, I'm just saying I would cook. That doesn't mean it's any good. Like, my name doesn't, like, prove that I do a good job at it. I'm just willing, you know. There's a chance that I'm an absolute horrible cook who just likes to subject everyone to the things that she's made.
I mean, I think, yeah, that's the end of, like, honestly, Aqua. I'm actually enjoying this new command now. Hey! If anyone wants to, what we can do is, like, we can say that someone wants to, if there's a regular and it's their birthday, then I'll make a new command for them as well.
So I get to wait till August. Cool.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like I should be more important than have you drawn a cat today. Like, how about have you drawn a Xate today? Wait, no, I don't think I want people drawing pictures of me every day. Never mind.
You think that I should just have Aquasulus is awesome coming up every few hours?
I mean, it is true every few hours, at least, you know.
I mean, would it be appropriate before we wrap up to watch the video of you and Aqua?
That would be up to Aqua. I don't care.
Yeah. On balance, I'm glad I didn't announce my birthday when it's happened, says Rob.
Wait, when was Rob's birthday? We need to rectify this situation.
Rob is remarkable! We'll have all the alliteration.
Radiant Rob.
Respect Rob's remarkableness. Yeah, we don't have a Rob command. This is true.
There is the heist command. It would be funny if you changed the heist command to just say to be the Rob command. So anytime we put Rob, it did the actual heist thing.
Oh, but I love the fact that Rob's
Rob, you're
Rob
not
is
mostly adequate. You're adequately at most. I mean, wait, no.
Okay. Yeah. Let me start to wrap up. Oh, this is just getting meaner and meaner. Say, are you
Rob,
going
you're
to
too
stick
British.
around
You're
as we wrap
amazing.
up?
You know that.
I'm going to wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes.
I can do the wrap up. So this is what happened today on Aquasulus's amazing, adventurous audio stream with video elements. First, Bez did some singing. Then Bez talked about some brilliant things. There were definitely brilliant things, and some we talked. Bez also talked about some recent highlights. Then Bez blethered on for a while, doing things occasionally. Some amazing people were here to witness the fact, most notably Aquasulus, whose birthday it is. So everyone should always remember that Aqua's birthday is today, because that's the best thing about today. There were some other people showing up talking about mechanisms. Aqua made some bad punny jokes. Rob came in and was too negative about himself, even though he's a wonderful person, and we're just going to ignore all the facts that he thinks that he's not great, because he is great, even though it's Aquasulus Day and we're supposed to be totally talking about how great Aqua is. So yes, you're both great. Then there came a message from this random German girl who was telling people that they should sing. So then there was singing done, mostly off key. And then we got a new stream elements command. And then we talked more about how great Aquasulus and Rob both are. And then we wrapped up.
I can't find the video very easily. I will have to find that later. And
I mean, it's on my YouTube marked as the L song. It's not exactly hard to find. I've only got like 10 songs on there.
YouTube will cook.
Will cook for board games, you know. Oh yes, and there was no argument about soup, Rob. We're all in total agreement that soup is awesome. You could just start halfway through. The second half's the only half that's even decent.
Make new words. Macau will make you think of brand new verbs. Fidel is very, very extra storytelling. It's even more than anyone can you adore. Love has all that I can give to Val to you. Love is more than just a couple of two. Even you can make it. Take my heart, please don't break it. Love is sharing and you.
Put all those hearts for Aqua back into the chat. Yay!
Bill is for the way we make new words. Mother will make you think of brand new words. Fables, very, very extra storytelling is even more than anyone can love. Has all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a couple of two. Even you can make it. Take my game and please don't break it. Love is shared by me and you. Yeah, as games for me and you.
But it's not really. It felt slightly. Oh, Xate's hiding behind the stream elements thing. Someone's lurking. But I think the key. I wish that. I wonder if Aquasulis has other videos of them singing other things, because that would be quite cool to kind of check out their other stuff. Or I guess I could do a link to their Twitter, because that's the only thing I know of theirs. But yeah, if you're not already following Alex, then follow them on Twitter. And I know that Alex doesn't actually stream, but why not follow them on Twitch, because they have a Twitch account, and it would be kind of funny if everyone just went and followed Alex. So please, everyone follow Alex on Twitch if you're on Twitch. So yeah, shouts out Aquasulis again. Go and follow that person.
That didn't work.
What do you mean it didn't work?
They were last up to some no game.
That sounds like stalking.
I mean, if it wasn't for Corona, I would totally be lurking outside of his house right now. No, I probably wouldn't be.
I mean, I hear that you actually know where they live.
I have addresses for certain people in certain places. For a lot of people, actually, just not for Rob, who didn't get any chocolate because Rob didn't want to give me his address. And even though I made him chocolate, since he didn't give me his address, I just gave it to someone else. But you know.
Well, you can clip it. I mean, I'm not going to start clipping my own show. That sounds like too much work. But if you're watching, go ahead and clip stuff. I'm open to being taken out of context as long as people don't use it in you know what I mean. Anyway, I think, yeah, I feel like your assumptions, yes, we had brilliant things. We had questions about soups. We talked about what's the best soup. Do you have an opinion on this, Xate?
Define soup.
Well, that's what we were doing. What is your favorite soup?
I guess it would depend on the category of soup.
You can only pick one. There can only be one.
Right now, so is chili a soup? Because right now my red lentil chili is my favorite. If not, if that's too chili-like and not soupy enough, then I would pick the kaldo. I'm mispronouncing that completely. The Mexican hot flour soup, which is basically
hot flour soup.
It's called Mexican hot flour soup, and it's basically a chicken soup with avocado and lime and garlic and chilies and all kinds of amazing good stuff. And it's very, very, very healthy and very, very good. And if you're even slightly thinking about possibly maybe getting sick and you eat it, you stay healthy. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yes. And I always have at least a liter of it in my freezer because I make it in huge vats, and then I always freeze some for in case I do start feeling icky.
So okay, this is where the argument was. Okay, Xate, you can, as the resident cook, because I should have put more like resident cook, not resident cook. I'm not disputing that you're a cook. I'm disputing that you're the resident cook.
I do not live on Twitch. I mean, I kind of do, but...
But, like, it's not like you live with all of us and you cook for all of us. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that would be nice, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but, you know, that's not the world we live in. Anyway, so... Rob talked about potato and leek soup. Rob gets the potatoes and leeks, chops them up, potentially fries them, puts them in with some stock and water and nothing else, and then puts it into a blender. That's Rob's chicken and leek soup. Maybe with a bit of salt, no other spices.
Very British.
What I said is I would like some more spice. I would maybe like a wee bit something else, maybe some protein like some beans or some pulses, maybe some split peas. And Rob said, no, what you're saying, that's no longer chicken and leek soup. Rob's saying that if I put
Where did chicken and leek soup get into the recipe?
Potato and leek soup. Potato and leek
It's like, wait, so you're replacing the potatoes with chicken and then blending it up into a chicken and
No. I wasn't bringing in chicken. I was talking about bringing in maybe red lentils.
You're just saying that because you know I like red lentils and you're hoping that I'll side with you.
No. I genuinely talked about red lentils earlier this morning because I just cooked for them for the first time, a few weeks ago, and now I'm putting them into things because they're quite quick and easy to put into things. And it's like, that bulks it up a wee bit. It gives it a bit more flavor. Not so much the flavor, it gives it more substance. It gives it more, and also I would put more seasoning in it because for me, just a bit of chicken stock and salt is not quite enough. I feel like at least a wee bit of pepper, maybe a wee bit of, I don't know what would go in with it, but cardamom maybe?
Curry?
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, so anyway, Rob is saying that it's no longer potato and leek soup.
Sure. I mean, the soup is great because pretty much you can put anything you want into a pot with some water and call it soup. Whether or not you then blend it up. But if you're going to go for a classic soup that has a classic soupy name and a classic expectation of that soup being that soup, then you got to kind of stick closer to the recipe. I think probably the closest you could get to adding stuff to his traditional soups type thing and still calling it the same thing would be some kind of cream or like maybe a cream cheese or sour cream or something in that nature that changes more the consistency and adds a little bit of flavor, but doesn't change it enough to be completely noticeable. Once you start adding lentils, then it's still soup. It's just not that soup.
Would you not say, though, that if I said, hey, I've made a leek and potato soup and the main ingredients are water, leek, potato, and red lentils?
I would call that a potato, leek, and lentil soup.
Okay.
You have to honor the lentils, Bez. They don't want to be overlooked, thrown in like a pinch of salt. A pinch of salt and 2 cups of red lentils. No. I guess if you throw in 2 red lentils, you could just claim them as a spice. But as soon as you start adding, measurable quantities of them,
hey, you can measure things that are very small. Okay, a nano gram.
I have a 1 gram scale for my kitchen, and I could not measure out 2 lentils in grams. That it would be too small. So,
I can see what you're saying. What you're saying is that it's soup. Honor the lentils. Okay, I can get behind that. Okay. I think we've come to some sort of agreement. That's okay. Rob has a very specific view on, okay, leek and potato soup is one specific thing. And, okay, but if it's one specific thing, then it's like,
But I mean, what's the problem with just naming everything you make differently? You don't have to call it all lentil and potato soup. You can just be like, here's some soup, and if someone cares that you can list the ingredients, just be like, Today's soup, by the way, is actually also lentil. It's lentil, potato, spinach, and lemon. Okay. And I think I actually don't call that any of those ingredients at all. This soup gets called the Wave Gothic Treff soup because that was, or the VGT, WGT soup, which it has nothing to do with except for the fact that at the WGT every spring, when we used to actually have gatherings of people that came together every spring, I would make this soup for 60 people for this event every year. And so people didn't bother. They couldn't always remember like what was in it or what. They'd just be like, oh, Xate made that soup and it was awesome. Do that again. So they just called it the VGT soup. So now, even if I make it to other times of the year, I'm like, that's what we're eating. So, why not?
I feel like
I've got amazing lentil soup recipes.
In the Discord, get some. I feel like you have lots of good recipes. I don't really tend to work off recipes, but I want to explore more red lentils.
Recipes are great because you have a shopping list already with you. You know exactly what you need, and I like to combine. Like, I know if I make this soup today, and in 3 days I make this one, I'll use up all of the celery or whatever ingredients I'm buying that I don't use too often for other things. So I like to combine for that. And then you can always take the recipe as a jumping off point. So if you make the veggie soup and you like it, you can do it the next time and add bacon, and you can do it the time after. And like the official recipe calls for 3 potatoes. I've never put in only 3 potatoes. I put in as many potatoes as I currently have that need to be used before they start to go off, which is usually more like 12. But I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, Rob's saying, show us your lentil recipes.
Yeah. Now I've talked a lot about my soup. I need to go eat it.
Let me quickly recap. I was chatting about Board Game Arena games. Cubirds, I felt like that was a really nice game. Definitely lots to think about. Lost Cities, and Love Letter, and which isn't quite for me. Solo, which I'm not going to play again, but other people might like it. Steamworks, which I would like to play it again, and I'll be happy to teach it to someone else just so I get the win on Board Game Arena.
That's why you don't want to play with me again. You want the win.
And also, you don't particularly want to play again on Board Game Arena.
I think I'm going to bring that one to the actual table today when Udit gets here.
Cool.
I love that game.
Or Sail, which I think is super awesome. And obviously, you prefer playing anything with real people or people that you know, but...
Yeah, I prefer playing anything with Udit.
Lucky numbers, good times. Not all potatoes are the same size. That is true, and that brings us to the end of today. And we also wait a minute. Didn't mean to do that one.
Potatoes
meant to do that
and
one.
People.
And of course, the most important thing: Aqua or Aqua Sulis. Either of them should do the same thing. Aqua, and because it says Aqua's birthday, and Aqua Sulis is awesome.
We didn't even ask Aqua how old he is. I think he turned like 22 or something.
No, I think it was like 15.
That's just no. He's got several kids. I know.
Yeah, that would be all sorts of. Anyway, if you want to check me out, stuffbybez.com, stuffbybez.bigcartel.com, twitter.com/stuffbybez, instagram.com/stuffbybez, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, where I'm streaming for the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days at 10 a.m. UK time, and then I'm not streaming. youtube.com/stuffbybez for the old episodes, stuffbybez.com/discord. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in chat. Thank you, Xate, for telling us it was Alex's birthday. Thank you, Rob, Alex, and Game Cupboard, and who the Japanese person who popped in briefly. But yeah, Xate, do you want to share any links? Shall I?
No, it's okay. Everyone knows where to find me.
I will share the link.
Actually, on March 13th, Saturday, March 13th, you can all tune into the 4 Weird Sisters. That's the next time we're doing our thing. Ha! I actually know in advance this time.
Shouts out. How do you spell it? 4 WEIRD.
Don't ask me to spell. That's just too. I'll put it in chat.
So somewhat. Oh, okay, so there was no title given to it. Yeah, I probably need to change that, but just make it, because it works well with people who are actually playing video games, and it says they were last playing Minecraft, or they were last playing blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, if people aren't putting in their things, but check out 4 Weird Sisters on March 13th, and that brings me to the final question. Over to you. What are you up to? You can share anything you want to, something you're looking forward to, something you need to get done, something you think you'll enjoy, something you think you won't enjoy. Either way, something that's exciting or boring or serious or frivolous. What are you up to? Are you eating soup?
I mean, I'm just going to get out my soup.
right now. We are having soup right now.
Yep.
You are showing your soup to the internet.
Got it.
There.
How's that for an adventure show? Ooh.
What's in your soup, Kate? What's in the soup? What's in the soup? What's in the soup? Let's jump through the
This
hoop.
is the lentil, potato, spinach, and lemon soup.
Okay. That sounds pretty good. And Rob is also having Sates for lunch.
Wait, what? I'm not sure if you meant that in a cannibalistic way or other, but either way.
Oh my god! I'm totally. This is why I need a break.
Yes.
Yeah, paging Dr. Freud, Freudian slips. Okay. I mean,
That was the name of my
your
improv
soup-
chicken.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm going to have my first proper day off on Sunday next week. Friday, I'm not streaming, but I am doing other things. But yeah, wow. Yeah, and anyway, what am I up to? I am going to be messaging a whole bunch of people to invite them over for episode 300. So just because you're on the show, Sate, and also Rob, if you would like to jump on for a wee bit of episode 300, it would be lovely to have you. I will be.
Wait. There's an episode 300 coming up. Is that like soon, or is that that's gonna take a while? Or I haven't heard about this ever before. Have any of you heard of this? There's a show 300 episodes. What?
For my next streams, look at stuffbybez.com/streams, which is let me actually. I don't open this that often, but it will redirect you to this Google Calendar where tomorrow I am discussing Board Game Arena. Tuesday it is going to be discussing playtesting with some great designers, then playing Balance the Ball. Wednesday we're meeting Paul Stapleton. Then Thursday is going to be Board Busy Beats and Board Game Blethering 300. Which might not be all that much board game blethering, I'm going to be honest. It'll just be looking at all the past shows and just chatting and possible chaotic shenanigans. And
Are you going to click through every single one again?
Not just from episode 200, from episode 1.
Oh, so I'm busy Thursday.
That's fair. You don't need to come. I'm not expecting anyone to come on for the full stream. I made a little doodle poll where you can say, okay, I'll come on at some points in this bit. So there'll be like myself and maybe up to 1 or 2 other people at any point. But Friday, I'm taking a break and possibly sleeping in, like it says. And Saturday, mentoring Dutch Yoda, no show on. And then this is going more than a week ahead. But just to make sure that you know...
I just saw the word Turksy.
Yeah, you were aware of this.
I just wanted to... I mean, you breezed over the best thing that you've ever said on your entire show. So, Turksy. Okay.
And I am taking a proper, 3-day holiday in early March. But you can check all that out. Share, spread the word. What else will I be doing? I'll be pondering some of the changes. I really need to send photos to someone because, yeah, for reasons, nothing to do with the show, to do with games. But, yeah, might be doing a wee bit of wandering, might be doing a wee bit of reading. I started reading this new Usagi Ojimbo book. I've gotten that way through it. I'll enjoy life. Anything more you want to say, Xate?
Nope.
Okay. Well, in that case, let me check on Twitch what's going on with the other channels. There's not many people streaming stuff, is there? It's like, okay, let's go into Aleski and okay, fine. So you want to say, so we will raid a Spanish streamer who is Aleski25 and is super lovely. And stick around if you want to hear some Spanish music. Otherwise, there is only one thing left to say. And that one thing, I believe everyone knows, is
Aqua Sulis is awesome.
Aqua Sulis is totally awesome. Aqua Sulis, this is Aqua Song. Aqua Sulis is totally awesome. Aqua Sulis is totally awesome. Bye bye, bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now it's time to go to bye bye, bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining. It's been lovely. Bye bye. That's us. We are still technically streaming, but that's the end of the show. Now I'm just going to leave it up for 5 more seconds so it can get really awkward.
That's fine. I'm used to awkward. Aqua Sulis is totally awesome.
Aqua Sulis is totally awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.